Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of Tara Talks Ryan Listens.
Welcome back. Thanks again for tuning in. Well, I guess not tuning in, but streaming us, whatever the case is. Let's get started, I guess.
Alrighty, so guess we'll just hop right into our news and current events segment. And so I think last week we announced that Chance the Rapper got married.
You know what? Real quick, it just seems like we're being rude. How are you? How are you, Tara?
Oh, you're so sweet. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It just seems like we didn't have enough formal greeting before hopping into the news.
Well, greetings.
Seemed a bit abrasive.
Okay.
So yeah, glad to know that you're doing well. Hope you had a good week.
So far, so good.
Cool. All right. Shout out to everybody on spring break right now. Have fun. Be safe. I remember what my news story was going to be. I found it. Okay.
You would.
Yep. I'm glad I did that.
I'm glad you did too, if that's what it took to jog your memory. Are you okay if I continue?
Yes, carry on.
All right. So last week we mentioned Chance the Rapper got married, and then he announced shortly after that he and his new wife are expecting again. So they're expecting a baby girl due in September. So congrats to them. That's awesome.
Shout out.
Babies are always good news and exciting new life. One of our best friends, I guess best couple friends, just had a baby, and then another one of our couple best friends just
made
announced
a big announcement that they are expecting.
Yes. So I'm assuming since all of this is out on social media that it's fair for us
to announce it. Shout out to
Mike and Iffy. We're so happy for you all and so excited for y'all, and can't wait to meet your baby boy. And shout out to...
They know it's a boy?
I think that's what they said. Said it had a blue heart, and it said one of their posts said boy. So
cool.
That's what I saw. And then also shout out to Jessica and Andy, who just welcomed their baby boy to the world. Absolutely adore him already. Auntie Tara and Uncle Ryan.
It's not fair. You got to meet him first.
I did. I snuck over there without you, and then you and I can go back another time and you can meet him. But
just rude.
I had to. Look, I'm so excited. Like, we love kids. Like, we have a lot of little nieces and nephews and little cousins, and so now that we're at the age where our friends are having kids, like, that's so weird.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I still can't believe we're old enough to have kids.
And the thing
on purpose and not be an accident.
Right. And the thing is, we actually have been old enough.
I know, for a long time.
It doesn't feel like it.
It does not. It does not. But I'm okay with that, and always love good news. So congrats to all of them. I hate to go from that to something so negative.
Oh, no.
I wish I had some medium news in between, but I guess I will carry on with our next news story. Just kind of really frustrates me. If any of y'all know Jess Hilarious, she's a comedian, Black woman, and she's on this sitcom called Rail, which is Little Rail's sitcom, which I really like his show. It's kind of weird. It's hard to get into, or at least it was for me.
Yeah, it's a bit like I don't know what to make of it, you know? I can't tell if it's supposed to be funny with a serious undertone, which some of the episodes are. Anyway, back to Jess Hilarious. She basically got big off of Instagram. She was making a lot of hilarious videos on Instagram. I think she's been featured on Wildin' Out and several other things lately. So
that's just kind of the backstory on her. If you're not familiar with her, that's what I know her from. And just recently saw her in the news because she allegedly got 4 Sikhs kicked off of a plane because she thought they were Muslim. I just want to go ahead and say apology not accepted, because I've seen like a few videos that she posted apologizing and like crying and like, begging for everyone's forgiveness. And I'm not going to go as far to say she's canceled, but I mean, I feel like she's about there if she's not, because this is not even her first offense. I can't remember the exact story, but she also recently said something really homophobic. just a few weeks ago.
Recently,
yeah, just a few weeks ago, and didn't apologize for that. She just stood up in it and was like literally fussing at people who disagree with her, were pointing out the errors in her comment, errors in her way. But here's the problem with her apology.
Before you do that, let me just in case you aren't familiar with Sikhs.
Yes.
Basically, they are members of the Punjab religion. I'm probably said that wrong. They are from India. Most of them live in India. And they wear traditional turbans. The men wear traditional turbans. Looks like the women also wear turbans, and it appears to be optional. The women also have a traditional headdress. It's not like one of those things where you can't see their faces at all. That's not what that is. Just to kind of clear, give you an idea.
Yeah, and if you're not familiar
Sikhism.
with Sikhs, I would definitely say do your Googles. It's Sikh, but it is a religion.
It's a monotheistic religion, meaning they have one particular deity. Originated in the 15th century in the Punjab region of the northern part of the Indian subcontinent.
So here's the problem I have with her apology. She is saying, one, that she didn't know Sikhs existed. And here's the thing. Even if you didn't know what a Sikh was, I learned about it in school because I took a lot of cultural classes and learned about it in social studies and things, and just different types of classes, diversity, religion, just was exposed to it. But even if you didn't know what it was, you know that they're people.
They're humans.
They're humans. And then her other part of the apology was, I didn't know that there were people who aren't Muslim who look Muslim. I'm sorry, but what's wrong with Muslim people?
In the first place, right?
So even if they were Muslim, why, just because you're saying you felt unsafe? What? This is literally a black woman, so a minoritized individual, discriminating against and being prejudiced against another minoritized individual. That's what I have a problem with. How in 2019 are you that uneducated, that uncultured, and that just, I don't even like the word intolerant. Because to me, intolerant or tolerance means oh, I'm tolerating you. That has a negative connotation. But how are you, I guess, just that ignorant? That just blows my mind that she really felt threatened and decided to get these people kicked off of a plane.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
And the thing is, after 9/11, so many Muslim and Sikh people were ostracized and, treated terribly for something that they did not do. Here's the thing. We're talking about an extremist group versus everybody. Look at white male Christians.
First of all, Islam is the largest religion in the entire world.
Yes, and that's really the problem is because America is so deeply rooted in Christianity, people forget that there are other religions out there.
Correct. And the biggest issue is it's one of those things where you just automatically associate someone's appearance with a negative experience that you've had without taking the time to realize that the people who hijacked the planes on September 11th were part of an extremist group. And they had nothing to do with the overall, people who practice that religion.
Exactly.
It's just like if a white person says, "Oh, I'm not racist. It wasn't me." But at the same time, everybody who appears to be of Middle Eastern descent, you automatically associate them with terrorism.
Yeah,
It's not fair.
we could easily associate every white person with
slavery.
with terrorism too. The South,
modern day terrorism. People don't understand
the
that.
South Carolina church shooting. That's scary. That could have easily been our church.
The mass shootings. There have been more
the movie
mass
theater
shootings committed by white men than any other group.
So it just blows my mind that she really felt the need to humiliate these human beings, saying that she felt unsafe, and now is begging for our forgiveness. I'm just not really here for it.
Yeah, and it kind of blows my mind that as a black person, she felt the need to do that. And I'm not just automatically saying that every person who's a minority is my friend and all white people are my enemies.
Right.
That's not at all the case.
Yeah.
However, As a fellow minority, a fellow person with brown skin who looks different than a straight Christian white male, you should you should at least have some sort of, sympathy or empathy towards someone who is obviously facing a different brand of prejudice
Yeah.
than what you face on a daily basis, but it's prejudice nonetheless.
Indeed.
And you as a black woman of all people should understand that.
I would think, but
And just to automatically assume that somebody who looks different than you is a terrorist, coming from a black person, is a bit disappointing.
it is. It's very disappointing, and it's a very immature outlook on life, and
Immature is a good way to put it. Yeah,
it's just sad. So good luck to her, because like honestly, I love Little Rel, but I don't even want to watch the show no more after that and her other faux pas a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Enough of that bad news. What you got for our obscure news?
Oh, we're already ready for that. Cool.
Let's go for it. I don't have a lot of news this week.
So, again, these are strange headlines that I find online, and I want to talk about it.
Go for it.
All right. So, according to NPR, I'm going to read the headline to you.
Okay.
There's a picture of a nice-looking rotisserie chicken.
I love
fresh
chicken.
out of the oven.
I love rotisserie.
The headline reads, "The chicken is local, but was it happy?
What?
GPS now tells the life story of your poultry."
No, I don't want to know. No.
I don't want to know.
Like that, just that headline made me sick to my stomach.
So a GPS tracker strapped to the leg of a chicken means that people who potentially will buy that chicken will know every step that chicken has taken, says food historian Robin Metcalf. Yeah, so it's saying that shoppers are willing to pay a premium for ingredients that are cage-free, organic, or wild caught. But do you really know if the chicken you're eating really spent its life happily pecking corn, or if your blackberries are grown locally and are pesticide-free? The answer seems to be put a tracking device on it. It says it's not as absurd as it sounds.
Okay.
But
it sounds pretty absurd.
It does. A GPS tracker strapped to the leg of a chicken says that people will know every step that chicken is taken. I can't imagine. I don't really see a need for that. It doesn't seem practical either.
I don't want to know. Like, have you ever seen that meme that has the pic, like the name of the chicken, and it's like a picture.
Oh yeah,
or I don't know if it's chicken or a cow.
Cows.
I think it's beef. And then it's like, would you still buy it? And they're like, yeah. Like, I don't want to know.
Yeah,
I don't want to know. Yeah. Like I will, if you say it's organic and grass fed or whatever, like I'm just gonna take your word for it. I don't need to know how many steps it took. I'm just content with knowing my own Fitbit steps. I do not need a Fitbit for my dinner.
Yeah, that's interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that. You can now figure out how your chicken lived before you eat it. And it just seems like the people who are going to be outraged about this really soon is the vegan community.
Absolutely.
That's the story. I had two stories and I couldn't think of either one. So while we're talking about chickens and the vegan community is likely going to be outraged by this, YouTuber, I believe her name is, let me look it up, Ravana. Yeah, the YouTuber, very, very popular YouTuber named Ravana. That's her YouTube channel. Famous for making a lot of raw vegan dishes and giving recipes on YouTube. Had a huge following. Recently was caught in South America eating fish.
I love it. Here's the funny thing. I mean, obviously, if she's a raw vegan, she doesn't. But my aunt and uncle were vegetarian literally for years, like decades. And they would eat fish sometimes. Like, I've heard of a lot of vegetarians eating fish. Now, vegan, I don't know about that. But
yeah,
here's my thing. The idea of being caught, I'm like, that's that person's life choice. I guess when you publicize it and make a living off of it.
Right.
Then,
and that's actually what people's issue is the fact that she makes such a significant amount of money. I think that's all she does at this point is YouTube videos. She's a 28-year-old influencer.
28?
Yeah, Giovanna Mendoza, better known as Ravana online. was featured in another vlogger's video last week for a split second with fans who believed there was a plate of fish in front of her. And basically she went from, it doesn't say the number, but yeah, she lost a significant amount of followers. And this popped up on my Facebook timeline, and basically she was talking about her journey to discovering veganism and all of that kind of stuff. And so she basically was making all of these videos, again, had a significant following on YouTube. Of course, once you get a significant following, you get paid. There's obviously several different ways to get paid through YouTube, and there's a lot of people who only make YouTube videos for a living and are making a very successful living from it. So people are upset because they are accusing her of basically getting paid off of vegan culture and not completely practicing what she preaches.
Nah.
She has I think looks like a 30-something minute video explaining herself. And this is my issue. The vegans who watch her videos to find recipes and, things like that are not the ones paying her from their pockets.
True. That is true. So it would be different if they hired her.
Yeah, because like even the year I spent, as with a vegan diet, I'm gonna put it that way. The year I spent eating vegan, I watched her videos when I first started the juice fast the last time we did it, and I watched her videos to get a lot of raw recipes to eat a lot more fruits and vegetables and things like that. The thing is, she gets paid because I clicked on her video,
right?
Not because I handed her money. I did not. I literally did not send her any money, so I'm not upset about this.
Yeah. So like, if it were a physical trainer or a nutritionist who you paid to get you in shape, and they had like some type of surgery and didn't disclose that
was an episode of House.
I wasn't gonna say that. It was like one of my favorite episodes of House.
There was like this woman who was selling DVDs and personal trainering people and training people to lose weight naturally and organically and all of this kind of stuff. And she ended up with a medical issue and did not even want to reveal to the surgeons that she had a procedure to lose weight. So it ended up almost costing her life.
Because she was just basically preaching this pull yourself up by your bootstraps type mentality. Yeah. Which that's not always everybody's path. So yeah, that would be different. That would be, a little bit more of like not disclosing everything. But I'm not upset with her.
I'm not upset about this either. Because here's the issue. She said that she felt like something was wrong with her body. So instead of trying to please a crowd of, I'm trying to think of a good word to put right here, but people who ultimately have no interest in her actual well-being, instead of trying to please all of them, she decided to take care of herself. So apparently she needed some more food in her system. So she she incorporated eating salt and fat and some cooked food back into her diet, she said. And it was basically a preventative measure from getting herself sick and potentially dying. Yeah. So there's consequences.
Yeah. And I would be more concerned about how I feel.
And she said doctors strongly recommended she eat eggs and meat to improve her health, because she had been completely raw vegan for like 6 years. That's quite extreme.
Yeah,
and
especially at such a young age.
So, and it's just like at some point you're going to need to, take in certain nutrients and things like that just to keep your body working properly. Yeah. And like I mentioned in a previous episode, I was like, it's not really going to hurt you to try this juice diet. Ultimately, and when I said that, I really want to clarify that. When I said that, it's not going to hurt you to try it. If you commit to a 21-day fast and you feel like something isn't right, do not sit there and kill yourself trying to prove somebody wrong because you started a fast.
Exactly.
Also, you should obviously, I'm no form of a medical professional or a dietitian, so only take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, or whatever old people say, and literally talk to your doctor about these kind of things. Talk to a dietitian about these kind of things. I'm telling you what I did, and I'm telling you what worked for me. Again, while I was on a 21-day juice fast, I decided to eat some vegetables because I started feeling weird. And I was like, okay, I do not understand this feeling. Let me eat something. Maybe that'll solve it. Sure enough, it did. And I went back to juicing the next day. So, and after that, I was like, you know what? Let me just stick with eating vegetables, because the feeling came back. I went back to eating vegetables and I was fine. So I kept up with that. So ultimately, what I'm saying here is, I understand why people feel or are upset about this, but at the same time, did you really pull money out of your pocket and give it to her?
Nope.
And unless you like paid for a cookbook or something like that, then even then the information in the cookbook is still valid.
Exactly.
It's not like she was like telling you to get ingredients that were unsavory or something to that effect. I think, again, she had an explanation and she was taking care of her own body, which nobody else was going to do for her. So I'd say let that go now.
I'm with you on that.
There was that was the actual story I was trying to remember. I remembered a different one, but yeah. Yeah. So, next headline, better late than never. A man returns a library book that was 53 years overdue.
Nope. No, sir. Yeah. Keep that. No, sir.
Yeah,
let me tell you.
This happens often. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just flashing back to when I used to get Redbox movies, like the DVDs. Mm-hmm. And, it's just $1.
Right.
But if you're late, like I would lose them and be so late where I ended up having to like spend $30 buying it. But at that point, they're like, it's yours. Do not give it back.
Right. Yeah, and this was 1966. The man who is, I didn't say how, he's 65 years old. 1966. He was 13 when he checked out a book at the time. Oh,
bless his little heart.
Lyndon B. Johnson was president, and the Vietnam War protests were raging.
So much has happened since then.
Yeah, found the book recently while cleaning out his basement and started to feel kind of guilty.
He felt guilty?
At 10 cents a day, supposedly it's about $2,000 would have been his overdue bill.
10 cents a day.
10 cents a day. It's about $2,000.
I hope they didn't charge that old man.
Yeah, they said not to worry. We're not looking to collect on it. I was returned to a middle school, not even a public library.
Oh, bless his heart. That school probably is like, we have all new books.
That copy was from 1961, and the book, the Family Book of Verse, was a $4.95 copy. So I highly doubt they were looking to get $2,000 off of that.
I commend his integrity, True. But I'm going to tell you right now, I would have kept it.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a copy of To Kill a Mockingbird.
See, that's what I was about to say. I wasn't going to put your business out there, but...
Now, granted, it did not come from my school. It wasn't my book. Someone gave it to me, and I was like, you're not going to return it? And he was like, this ain't even mine. I found it. So I have a book that came from somebody's school library. I can't even tell what school it is.
I'm not going to track it down.
I'm not going to try to track it down. There's really no way of knowing what school it came from.
I would rather like donate that book to other kids. You know how they do like little book drives or whatever? Right. I would rather...
However, To Kill a Mockingbird was like one of the few books I actually enjoyed being forced to read in high school.
So. And loved the movie.
Yeah.
Didn't expect it to be that dope.
Yeah. In the interest of time...
Uh-oh. Because I suspect this one could be a long one.
This is probably going to be a long episode, too.
We got some juicy letters. In the interest of
time, I'm going to save these next two for next week.
Yes, do that for me. Speaking of vegan and juicing and fasting and all those fun things, I did want to give our listeners an update on our Daniel fast or juicing fast, whatever you want to call this. So as some of y'all may remember, we started out doing the fast a few weeks ago. I'm just going to start out with what I miss most. So surprisingly, it's coffee and wine.
Yeah, I'm missing coffee too.
I usually drink coffee every day, and then I don't drink wine every day, but like sometimes I just want a glass of wine. And like literally the other day I was watching Sex and the City and they were drinking wine, and I was like, oh, I'm going to pour a glass of wine and drink this while I watch it. And then I was like, oh, wait, no, I'm not.
No, you're not.
I'm going to have some water. And
yeah,
so
I was watching How I Met Your Mother and wanted one of the scotch and soda. I'm like, oh, wait, can't have either of those things.
Yes. Right now. But I'm actually enjoying it. I lost another 1.5 pounds. So if you listened last week, I lost 4 pounds in that first week, and then 1.5 pounds after that. So I've lost 5.5 pounds so far. So nice. I'm content with that. I will tell you, the other day at work, someone brought in donuts and I didn't eat it. I literally was just like, you know how many days I've been at work where I've been like, ooh, I wish somebody would bring in donuts, and they didn't. And then this one day, somebody brought in donuts while I'm sipping my kale smoothie, And I was just like, "Argh." And so I ignored it. And then someone goes, oh, they brought donuts. Tara, come get donuts. And I was like, no, thank you. Just gonna enjoy my kale smoothie. And then like an hour passed by. And the person who brought the donuts was like, Tara, like literally yelled at me across the room and said, come get a donut. And I was like, no, I'm good. Yeah. So that was tough. I have had a couple of cheat meals. I'm just going to be honest. Like, I don't want y'all to
we both have
call me out like, oh, girl with the fish. Like, you're not going to say, oh, I caught Tara eating such and such.
First of all, you didn't catch me doing anything.
You didn't, because I'm grown and I'm the one that decided to do this. So I can also
this
press
is my
pause.
life and my body. I'm the only one taking care of it. So if I decide that I need to, what's the nutrient? Amino acids or something like that. If I need some amino acids from fish in my body right now, I'm going to get some amino acids from fish.
Yeah. And so, that's, I will be honest, full disclosure with that. But again, you're not catching me because I decided to do this. So I'm grown. And like I said in the beginning, my 2 reasons for doing this was, one, obviously getting healthy, getting fit. I feel like a fast is a good way to jumpstart your fitness and kind of like press reset on your body.
Correct.
And so I'm really excited to do that. Obviously, just for life. I want to be healthy in life, but also we just got engaged. So I'm trying to think about, I want to look decent in my wedding dress and not have my flabalanche hanging out. 2, my other reason for doing this was I really wanted to like shift my focus from food and back to God. And I'm so excited. I just finished, high five me. I just finished my first reading plan, like on the Bible app. And so like I have really struggled with finding consistency with devotions, and that's something that I wanted to do. I really want to improve my relationship with God and take that time out. It doesn't take long at all. After watching War Room, I was so inspired, but then I'm also like, I ain't got time for that. But that sounds terrible because you should make time for God. But some devotions are so long and it's like, okay, I need to get up and get ready, or I'm already running late. So I found one that I really like on the Bible app and I just completed it. So I feel like I'm accomplishing my 2 goals, which, I lost 5.5 pounds and I'm spending more time with God and doing like the devotion and stuff like that. So I'm content with that and I'm fine with my couple of cheat meals. We do have one more week? I think
something like that.
Something like that. However many more days of this.
I kind of started over and I lost count. I need to go back and count.
I'm not starting over. It is what it is. But I am going to continue this. Maybe not as strict, but I am going to continue this because I like the idea of eating healthy 80 to 90% of the time, and then allowing some meals that are.
And ultimately, that's what's important.
Yeah.
Is the fact
balance.
That is the balance. You got to make sure that your body is getting the nutrients that it needs from things like fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. And you're not only consuming like meat and fried foods and refined sugars and a bunch of bread and stuff like that.
Yes.
But yeah, honestly, cutting sugar and bread from your diet and fried foods is like the easiest way to do it. And then cut out starches after that.
Yeah.
That's really the easiest way. But yeah, again, we are not dietitians or doctors by any stretch of any imagination.
We have a lot of friends that are doctors.
We have a lot of friends who are doctors.
I can think of 3 off the spot.
Tara's mom is a nurse.
My mom is a nurse and a dietitian and a Reiki therapist and
all of that. Yeah.
A lot of certifications.
Yeah, her mom is super medical. But again, I read things and I learn from that and then I attempt them. I have a bunch of friends who are personal trainers, a couple of friends who are dietitians and doctors. So I just kind of listen to what they say and then I try things and I decide what works for me and then I do that.
And honestly, I really love that you are so passionate about health because like there are a lot of guys who just like eat whatever, don't care, and are just like whatever.
That all goes back to a time when I was 9 years old. When I was 9, my dad was...
Math, 25.
Not 25, was he?
Math.
26. Is that the math?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to take your word for it. No, he was 26. Because if I was 10, he'd be 27. So yeah, my dad was 26. I was 9 years old. All right. And we're somewhere on vacation. He orders a pizza. He ordered me my own separate pizza at the age of 9 years old. I'm like, wow, cool. I get a whole pizza.
Oh, wow.
And then he was like, I was like, why'd you get two? And he basically looked at me and was like, yeah, son, the doctor told me that I need to, if I'm going to have pizza, I need to not get the sauce on the pizza to make sure I don't remember what it was. It was his blood pressure or something like that. So that particular moment stuck with me. And I just decided that I don't want to be 27 years old and have a restricted diet at doctor's orders. So I was like, let me just try to take care of my body now so I can eat, just kind of still what I want, just to make sure that I'm, balancing out my diet, because I also don't want to have high blood pressure or gout or diabetes or nothing like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I still want to be able to enjoy food. So it's really just a matter of
balance.
If you say, I know people who basically eat really clean during the week, only eat vegetables during the week, or only eat salad during the week and stuff like that, and then kind of eat whatever on the weekend. I've seen people lose weight like that. A buddy of mine was doing that and lost a bunch of weight, looked like a different person.
But your health is your wealth.
Exactly. Because like I said, you only get the one body. There are parts you can replace.
Oh, goodness.
But it's not worth it in the long run. Just take care of yourself the first time.
Indeed. So with that, let's go ahead and hop into our listener letters.
Moving right along.
Yes. So if you have any questions about life, love, work, family, whatever it is you're going through, or if you just have completely random, obscure questions that you want to ask us, throw it out there. Yeah. You're reading ahead.
I'm not reading ahead, but I caught a glimpse of the question.
Yeah, we got a juicy one today.
Nice.
That's why I said this one might be a little bit longer episode, so I apologize in advance, but just hit pause and pick it up when you can. So
make sure you subscribing to us too.
Yes, subscribe to the podcast. So you'll know when our
new shows come out. So I don't have to get on social media and tell everybody that the new show came out. I'm still going to do that, but yes, I want you to know ahead of time. So yeah,
subscribe to the podcast, share it with friends and family, tell them about it.
It's relatively clean.
Yeah, send us some feedback. But yeah, so if you have questions, send them to askttrl@gmail.com. That's askttrl@gmail.com. We'll be happy to help you the best we can or answer them the best we can.
We're also not licensed therapists, but we have a lot of really good friends who are doing well at life, and they've asked us for advice, and they took our advice, and they're continuing to do well at life.
You're so funny.
So yeah,
whatever. This is our opinion, obviously. All right, so first question I think is a little more lighthearted, and then we'll dive into the juice after that. So the question is regarding a barbecue. And it says, what are acceptable items versus what are items that are not acceptable, and just general barbecue etiquette. And this is from Carlton.
Okay, Carlton, thank you for your question. Appreciate it, fam. First things first. If you show up to a barbecue empty-handed, you wait until someone invites you to get a plate.
Oh, that is a good one.
First things first. If you didn't bring a 2-liter, a 98-cent 2-liter. You didn't bring no cups, you didn't bring no ice, you didn't bring no extra barbecue sauce, you didn't bring no hot sauce. Do not go reaching for a plate before everyone else who brought something, or people who contributed, or the person whose house it is especially. Wait to be invited to eat if you show up empty-handed. Now, there's going to be times where you're rolling with somebody else, and they're like, hey, we're going to a barbecue, you want to roll? Okay, sure. And you don't have time to get anything. Again, so just take that advice, just don't be that person that shows up uninvited and got a 2-foot plate.
And a to-go plate.
Of ribs. The premium stuff, not the burgers and the hot dogs. Don't go premium straight to the right. Don't go get the boudin.
You getting the shish kebabs.
You're supposed to get the Earl Campbell sausages and not the boudin. And again, don't be that person. Don't bring like a cheap 6-pack of beer and then go drink in the Ciroc.
Right. Oh man.
I can't stand that guy. Also, if you bring something and there's leftovers, don't automatically take it back with you unless the host says, offers, hey, I'm not going to be able to finish all of this. Take what you want. If you bring something and they say, hey, take all of this food, y'all take this food, then take your food back.
Yeah.
But if you show up with something, don't be like, okay, y'all not gonna eat this. All right, I'm taking it back. Don't be that person.
Yes. I can't stand when,
especially if you leave early. Don't take it away. But, there's that.
I can't stand if I have a friend that's hosting a barbecue then I'm low key co-hosting.
I'm low key co-hosting.
I'm spending a lot of money on groceries to make everything from scratch.
Man, we spent a guap on.
Our friend had a barbecue last 4th of July
joint.
I made 4th of July themed cupcakes, and they were gorgeous and they were delicious. And then I made what else did I make? I made red and blue Jello shots.
Jello shots, that's what it was. I made some
baked beans.
Some fire baked beans.
Oh my gosh, those beans were so good. And it was a big old pot of them.
Huge pot.
So we spent a lot of money.
And then I brought bratwurst too.
Yes, you did.
The good kind, not the kind that's already cooked and you just gotta heat it up in the microwave.
Like
I
legit.
brought the legit bratwurst.
So we spent a lot of money on this barbecue that we were just going to.
And a bottle.
Yeah, and a bottle. And then you had people who just showed up and brought something like, I can't even think of an example.
I think somebody brought a pack of cookies.
Right.
Which was fine because you took the time
to get something
to contribute. Again, this was not like you can't eat if you don't bring nothing. If you don't pay for it, you can't. It's not one of those kind of things. If you were invited, then yes, come and eat. But it's also just simple common courtesy to bring an item that everyone can share since you're being fed. It's just simple courtesy.
Also, if you're going to bring potato salad or deviled eggs or anything like that should be cold, you need to keep it cold. Right.
Also, check with the host. If you're going to bring something to that effect, don't bring that unless you're asked specifically. Because I'm 99% sure there will be instructions on which kind to get if you're making it yourself, what ingredients to put in it, what store to get it from, which brand to buy if you're buying it. So always check with the host on that kind of thing. If you're making deviled eggs, please keep them cold. Nobody likes lukewarm potato salad.
Yeah.
If you do, something's not right with you.
We're kind of bougie about stuff like that, though.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if somebody says they're bringing buns, I'm like, what kind of buns are you bringing? Let me show you a picture of the kind of rolls I want. Like,
that's true.
I mean, I'm serious. Like, you're not just going to pick up any kind of rolls. Like,
I remember before I moved in with you, I would go get like the cheapest version of everything. And that will be what I fed myself.
But now,
the only time I splurged on anything was if I was out around a bunch of people and the food was really good or something like that, or I wanted another drink, or if I just saved up for to be like, you know what, I want to splurge next weekend. Whatever we going, I want to add avocado next weekend, so I'm gonna save up to do that. Nowadays, I can't purchase commoner bread. I've been watching this TV show and they use the word commoner a lot, and I love it. So, I can't. I generally got to buy like the lunch meat sliced from the deli, not the kind that was already sliced in a little package like I used to. I simply cannot do bologna anymore. There's going to be times where I feel nostalgic and want to fry some bologna. But, generally no. The bread, I
blame my mom. My mom, she is like self-proclaimed high maintenance. And she raised me to be the same. Why are you laughing?
I'm just thinking of that one time where I said something and I was like, oh yeah, I went to Big Lots and I bought X, Y, and Z. She was like, if you're gonna be with my daughter, you're not gonna be shopping at Big Lots. And I was like, oh yes, ma'am.
The funny thing is my mom is also so cheap. Like she would walk in Walgreens and get like $500 worth of stuff for $27 with all the coupons and all the codes. So,
but also like it's like the me. Also me where she's like super bougie and then splurging on premium goods. But at the same time, we'll pull out every single coupon and go straight to the clearance section. And I'm like, that's the same concept as Big Lots.
Yeah.
It's just the clearance section is in a different store.
She was just testing you to make sure hilarious. You could handle me.
I got a kick out of that. So,
any other thoughts on barbecue etiquette?
Also wait to be invited to make to-go plates. Do not make a to-go plate at the beginning of the barbecue without permission. Do not be hoarding all the ribs in the boudin or the brisket. And it's like 1 hour into the barbecue or the food being ready and all of the brisket gone already. And you got a plate hidden somewhere and people who are supposed to be there haven't even eaten yet. Don't be that person.
Yeah.
No one likes that. That's how you get not invited to stuff. So when you're looking on Instagram, like, oh, they had a barbecue. Why didn't they tell me? Remember that time when you took the to-go plates and then ate basically all the ribs by yourself? That's why. Other people wanted ribs too.
I would say don't bring Tupperware.
Do not bring Tupperware.
Like, if they happen to have to-go plates and they tell you make yourself a to-go plate, that's one thing.
Don't bring Tupperware if you didn't bring food.
Yeah.
If you prepared a dish, bring Tupperware in case there's leftovers and the host doesn't want to keep it.
The only time I bring Tupperware to an event is like my family's house, because I know.
Oh yeah.
You know how my family is. Like, they're gonna have.
Your folks cook enough food to feed like 12 families.
Yeah, there's gonna be leftovers, and they're gonna want you to take it. So I might as well take my Tupperware rather than borrowing somebody's Tupperware and then have to wash it and give it back. So.
And if you do bring Tupperware, with the hopes that you'll get invited to make a to-go plate, leave it in the car.
I was just gonna say that. I leave it in the car. I'm not gonna bring it in and be all
got
greedy.
my Tupperware. We about to grub real good, and then I'm gonna take me a whole bunch to go plates before everybody else get to eat.
No, I leave it in the car. Wait for them to say, "Oh, make yourself plate." Oh, actually, I'm glad you asked.
Sit down. Hold up. Be humble.
Indeed.
It's the rule of thumb. Sit down. Be humble. But yeah, again, that's just me and my upbringing and morals and values and whatnot. So I can't speak for everybody.
All right,
so that needs to be my catchphrase, because I said that last week.
Yeah, you did. So our next question is entitled "Still in Love with My Ex." And let me just say, if y'all want us to like shout you out, I will say your real name. But if not, I'm gonna give you a fake name, or you can give yourself a fake name, like this listener letter did. And so the letter says, "My fake name is Keenan. I am a 27-year-old man who is currently single AF, but in a good way.
Okay.
I enjoy my single lifestyle and the freedom to casually date. However, my ex-girlfriend from sophomore year in college, let's call her Tia, has recently gotten into a seemingly serious relationship."
Real quick, I love how detailed this is.
I do too, yeah. "Honestly, I can't take it. I always thought she was the one when we first started dating, but due to the fact that she and I started out dating each other's best friends, which is how we met, we ended things for the sake of their friendships. My best friend, let's call him Kel." Keenan and Kel, get it? I love it.
Dope.
And I had a bit of an argument.
Go back.
You really want me to start up? "My best friend, let's call him Kel, and I had a bit of an argument, had a beer, and went to the club and got over it the next day, as if it never happened," just like guys do.
Big flex.
"She and her friend, however, let's call her Tamara." Oh, T and Tamara. Wow.
Somebody likes the 90s.
I do as well. "She and her friend Tamara were never the same. At this point, they're no longer friends, or close at least, and have all but disassociated. My buddy is very happily married with kids and could care less about," I think it's couldn't care less. Couldn't care less.
But yeah, carry on.
Sorry. Nerds. "Couldn't care less about anyone or anything from his past. I've always wanted to try again with Tia, but always felt that I needed to be ready before I tried again. I still don't think I am, but the possibility of never having a shot again is killing me. If I am to interfere, I don't want to wait until it's too late, because I don't think pulling a Dwayne Wayne at Whitley's first wedding will work in real life."
Ooh.
Yeah.
Point. You know what's funny? I saw that clip on Instagram yesterday, and I've watched it like on repeat for
Love
like a
it.
good 3 minutes.
Daddy Pope got shut down. "I am prepared for any advice and criticism you have to offer. Please help. Thank you, Keenan."
First of all, Keenan, thank you for the detail in this letter.
Yes.
This is going to help us give you a better answer. And I also appreciate that you're open to advice and criticism as well, because, I've got some things to say here. So, first of all, let me just start by saying this reminds me of a very, very similar situation that I faced in college.
Yep.
Like the part about dating each other's best friends. So me and one of my really, really, really good friends, my brother from another mother, all right, so real quick, short version. I started dating this one girl. Turns out that her roommate was this girl who was in my art class that I kind of had a crush on, but didn't think I had a shot with her because I thought she had a boyfriend. Turns out she didn't have a boyfriend. I was like, dang. I could have just...
Should have went more?
Should have shot my shot and learned that the hard way. So, ended up dating the first girl, learned that the second girl was single and also her roommate. So at that point, I really didn't have a shot anymore, or at least I thought. Then, so I introduced the second girl to one of my really good friends, and we all just hung out, the four of us. Good times up until they weren't good times. Me and the first girl split up. It just simply didn't work. Too many differences, too much going wrong there. Let it go. They stayed together a little bit longer, and then they had the same issues, and they let it go too. About a year later, me and the second girl, kind of discovered we had a bit of a thing. I mean, it was never anything official, but it we didn't talk about it to anyone. We just kept it private for a long time. Ultimately, something very similar happened. She kind of decided to go ahead and tell them, and I was like, at least wait for me. She didn't. I'm still was kind of upset about that, but I let it go. Just like you and your friend, me and my bro was just like, he was like, that was effed up, right? I was like, yeah, you're right, and I apologize. He was like, I'm not really mad. It's just you should have said something. I was like, I was trying to wait on her to decide she was ready to tell both of y'all. So that's why I didn't say nothing. I was just trying to wait. Then she goes and tells them both behind my back. And I was like, oh, so you're just going to blindside me like that? Okay, cool. Either way, the three of us minus the first girl are all still, cool. We all stayed friends after that. Her and the first girl are not friends anymore. So it's very similar. So I feel like I have a pretty good answer for this. Here's what I'm going to say. There are times in a man's life where you meet a girl and you feel like she's the one. You might be right about her being the one, but you still want to have your fun. This is one of those times you got to stop and take a long, hard look at your own life and yourself and decide what you really want. Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. If you go back for her now and you successfully interfere and you get her back, and you know that you're not ready, there are going to be some hard choices to make. You're going to have to simply let whatever you're trying to hold on to in your single life go. Just straight up let it go and focus on making her happy, which sounds like what you want to do. But at the same time, if you know you're not going to be ready anytime soon, don't stand in the way of her being happy. Because it seems like she's in this relationship, and I'm assuming you saw a picture on Facebook or something. And that indicates that she's happily with this guy and made it public. So if she's happy, don't go interfering with her happiness thinking that you can do better if you're not prepared to do that. If you go after her and you break up whatever she's got going on now, you literally have to be prepared to step up and be better than what she had. Otherwise, she's going to resent you for it. So I cannot give you any other answers than what I just said. I can only give you that advice. The answer lies within you.
Oh, wow.
And then also there's the possibility that you do make an attempt at interfering and she's simply not interested. She was like, no, you had your shot. We're in two different places in life and I can't wait for you. Can't go back for you. Shot clock. And yeah, at that point you have to accept her answer and move on. So if you cannot pull it together now, like this might be the wake up call. This might be the kick in the pants you needed to, like my father would say, straighten up and fly right. Not that you're necessarily doing anything wrong being single, but if she's who you really want, you're going to have to step up and make that happen. And if she says no, then you simply don't have another shot. That's it. You got to deal with that. Remember the fun you were having and remember the sacrifice you made. So yeah, because it's very unlikely that you can successfully pull a Dwayne Wade and Whitley's first wedding. So
Dwayne Wayne.
That's what I said.
You said Dwayne Wade.
No, I didn't.
Oh, maybe I just heard that because I'm obsessed with Gabby.
I mean, maybe it sounded like it. Now, I will admit it might have sounded like it because I was talking fast, but yeah.
So it's funny because your answer kind of made me change my answer.
Oh, really?
Because my first thought was shoot your shot. Like I'm always the hopeless romantic and always thinking about like rom-coms where it's like, it's that Dwayne and Willie situation. Like, no, pick him. Like, seriously, I mean, the underdog versus the one that seems right on paper, but something ain't quite right. That just don't fit. Mm-hmm. And I want to root for that. And I want to root for you to go after her. But at the same time, if she's in a serious relationship, I'm trying to think about when you and I first started dating. I can't imagine an ex hitting me up like, hey, let's get back together. My ex hit me up and said happy birthday. And I was like, what? like literally you're dead to me. Like, I don't know. Like, that's just inappropriate. It's kind of inappropriate to pursue someone who is in a relationship. But I guess it's better than if she were married. It would be completely off limits if she was married. But if they're just serious in a relationship,
even then it's still possible, but I would not recommend that.
No. But here's the thing.
Possible, not right.
Yes.
Possible.
Here's the thing. I noticed a couple of things in the email. Like you said, I'm enjoying the single life. And then you said, I feel like I'm still not ready. And maybe you should just go with that. Like if you aren't ready to commit to her and, really give it a good shot, then what is the point of disrupting what she has going on? I kind of agree with you. Like after hearing you say it out loud, I don't know. It just really depends on, how serious she is with this other person, because you could reach out to her and it would be no harm if you reach out to her and you know that if she says no, you can deal with that. Then you just would have to deal with that. Like the worst she could say is, I'm sorry, I'm in a relationship. Like,
I mean, yeah, that's like ultimately the worst. She could go into a lot of detail about how much better her life is with the new guy and try to make you feel bad. But
yeah, that's what I would do.
Right.
I'm so happy. He's so much better than you.
Yeah, she could do that. That's a little bit worse than no. So be prepared for that, because that's also a possibility. Be prepared for her to say, you know what, I've been waiting for you all along. And she might just straight up drop the guy for you.
She might.
So if she does, then you gotta be prepared.
I'm kind of the mindset that you should never like have any regrets. And so it's probably better to, if this is really bothering you, you have to figure out if this is really bothering you because you love her and you want to be with her, or if this is just jealousy. If you are really just like, oh man, I had a chance and now look at her. Like,
exactly what I say. Look at yourself. If it's
childish, yeah. So that's really going to be the difference if you should shoot your shot or not. Like, if you can really tell, like, oh, I'm really just being childish, then you need to move on and let her be happy and just regret it from afar. But if you're like, no, this is the mother of my child, like, I know this is who I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with, then it's probably better to go ahead and at least try.
Right. Yeah, it sounds like your partner basically gave you his sideways blessing, because like you said, he's married and has zero damns to give about anything else that happened.
Yeah,
and that's great for him. But if that's not your goal with her, leave her alone.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the friend thing. Like, that's obviously old news. Your friend has moved on. Her friend, they don't even talk no more. Like, I wouldn't even take that into consideration.
How similar the situation is.
It really is. That's what I was thinking. Like, as I was reading it, I was like, wow, that's kind of like what happened to you.
Yeah. That is nuts. It's crazy to think about, like, because these are things you don't generally talk about with everybody, so you don't realize how common these situations can be.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my advice. I don't really have any criticism. No. I would like to hear a follow up. Let us know what you decide. So,
yes.
If you hear this, let us know what happens, because I could very well have more to say about what happens after that. Again, make sure that because I'm at 27, 28, I'm sure I'm assuming y'all are the same age, close to it. 27, 28-year-old women are not playing.
Ooh, you better say that again.
They are not playing.
If she was 22, that'd be different.
Yeah, if she was 22, there's a difference there,
Not saying you should play around with anyone's heart, but
right.
when you're in your late 20s or in your almost 30s, as I like to call them,
mm-hmm.
and you're about to be 30s, like that is a critical age where you are either trying to be with somebody or not. Like, you're not trying to play games.
Right. So, yeah. I'm very curious to see how this plays out.
Please.
I'm wishing you the best.
A follow-up.
But I also can't say what the best is because I don't know y'all. So
good luck, Keenan.
Yeah. And I shout out to you for the 90s sitcom references.
Yes,
that's definitely appreciated.
Love it.
Yeah.
Do we have time for one more?
I am going to say yes to that.
Okay, let's do one more. And so our last letter is coming from Khadijah. And
man, more 90s.
Yeah, I made that one up though. Okay, cool. And so Khadijah said, what are y'all's love languages? If you have different love languages, does that affect y'all's relationship? And so if you're not familiar with the 5 love languages, it is a very popular book called The Five Love Languages. I think it's Gary Chapman. And so it's funny that we got this question, and then we were watching an episode of Fresh Off the Boat, and they were talking about the Five Love Languages book. And then it also came up on a podcast that I was listening to, which so special shout out to the Love Hour podcast. I'm so obsessed with it right now. It's amazing.
Who's in that?
The Love Hour podcast is Kev on Stage and Mrs. Kev on Stage. So
nice.
if you're familiar with that guy who does a lot of like videos on
Instagram
YouTube,
and Facebook,
yes,
and YouTube.
he and his wife have a podcast, and it's amazing. It's literally like, I feel like that's our pre-marriage counseling. Like, they hitting on some good topics. So
yeah,
I'm loving it. But anyway, so they recommended the Five Love Languages book, and basically the concept of that is that how you show love. There's 5 different ways of how you show love and how you want to receive love. And so it's words of affirmation, physical touch, receiving gifts, quality time, and acts of service. And so because I saw this question ahead of time, I had us take the quiz. It's just a quick little quiz that you can take online, you and your partner, and see what your...
She gave me a homework assignment. I had to go online and take a quiz.
I did. That's why I love this question. Thank you so much for challenging us to do a little bit more work
thanks,
to prepare
Khadijah.
for the show. I love it.
Yeah,
but I've been meaning to have us take this actually for a while. So this is perfect because I don't know if you remember this, but we took it when we first started dating. Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
Yeah, and back then it was a paper copy, and now it's an online test. It's so funny. We've been together that long. I just want you to know that.
Wow.
So, so we took it back then, but I couldn't remember what ours were, and I don't even remember if I read the book or if I just skimmed it or what. But I'm gonna reread the book. But we took the quiz, and I'm gonna say I was surprised by mine and yours.
Really?
I was. So I'm gonna read mine. My primary one was receiving gifts. And then it was followed by quality time, physical touch, then words of affirmation, and acts of service.
Interesting that your results are literally chronological. They go from 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Yeah,
so they were all like literally one apart. So it's kind of balanced with yours.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I am pretty even throughout. Versus yours was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I'm surprised I got a 0 on receiving gifts. Mine was 10 acts of service, 8 words of affirmation, 6 physical touch, 6 quality time, and 0 receiving gifts. I like receiving gifts.
You do like receiving gifts, but that's not how you show love, or that's not how you receive love.
Okay. Yeah.
And so it's weird because, so at first I thought, I'm not a materialistic person, so how can receiving gifts be my primary one? But here's the thing, I will say. 1, you have really spoiled me because you're a really good gift giver. So I enjoy receiving gifts from you.
Hey.
And 2, if I really think back, my mom and my dad really spoiled me because that's how they show love. Like, my mom to this day, like, I'm in grad school, and if I get an A on the paper, she's like, all right, let's go out to eat. Like, that's the thing. Like, when I was in high school, if I got an A on anything, it was like, all right, let's go to Outback. Like, or if I did well in something, she would give me $20. Or
so you always got A's.
We would go shopping.
A lot.
I know. That's why I am a little bit spoiled. So
fair point.
So yeah, like, that was her way of being like, okay, let's celebrate your accomplishment. And so I did get a lot of gifts. My parents always got me gifts for Valentine's Day. It wasn't just Christmas. It was Valentine's Day. It was, they made my birthdays a big deal, which I didn't realize that some kids didn't have birthday parties. Like, my birthdays were a big deal. And so, it wasn't super expensive, but we did something, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so, and I just got a lot of just because gifts. Like, my mom was very very intentional about being thoughtful with stuff that I would remember and giving me gifts that, I don't know. So I think maybe that is why that's my primary love language. That's, to me, you give me something it doesn't have to be expensive. It just says you care, you thought about me, and that's how I interpret love.
That's an interesting notion in its own way.
What?
I'm gonna be honest with you. That show I've been watching, I heard them say that right before we came upstairs to do the show. Yeah, I just wanted to say that because that sentence sounded cool.
You're so weird.
I am.
Quality time being my second one, I definitely was not surprised by that because that is something I'm very big on for friends, family, everyone. Like, I'm very big on spending time together, like quality time with a person. So I'm not surprised by that. And even with you and I, like, I'm always That's why when we were long distance, it was so hard for me because quality time is so important to me.
True.
And do you want to talk about yours?
So the questions in the quiz were like, it was basically the same question, the same 3 questions 40 times. It was like, I think you had to like agree or disagree or select one of the 2 or something like that. The questions were like, I appreciate receiving gifts from my partner, or I appreciate spending time with my partner. And then it was like the same 3 or 4 questions, just worded differently.
Yeah,
like
I feel like the questions were different the first time we took it.
Yeah, I don't remember the questions. And it would be like, I appreciate receiving gifts from my partner. And the next one will be like, I really enjoy when my partner purchases things for me. Stuff like that. It was just like roundabout ways of the same 4 questions like 100 times. But yeah, so apparently mine were acts of service. And those questions were like, I appreciate when my partner assists me with something that I'm doing. And then the variations were like, without asking, or my partner always offers help, or something like that. Stuff like that. So I absolutely appreciate when you help me with stuff.
I would not have known that.
Yeah. I feel like I say it a lot, but
I don't know why I thought yours would have been like physical touch, or actually no, I would have thought yours would have been quality time or receiving gifts.
Yeah,
or actually words of affirmation. I thought that would have been your primary.
And that was next. That's number 2, which quite frankly, I'll be the first to admit this. As men, specifically Black men, we generally tend to try to come off as powerful and not needy and things like that. But we like hearing the fact that you appreciate us. Please don't be afraid to say it. That's motivation for us to keep going. It makes us stronger hearing words of affirmation, especially from our queens. So yeah, take that. Ladies, take that. I guess other fellas who are dating Black men, take that into consideration. Pretty much anybody specifically, but from my point of view, it is very important for me to, I guess, hear that affirmation coming from somebody who I care about, someone who someone who is a part of my goals. With you being the eventual mother of my children, I need to hear from you that I'm doing things properly, or that you appreciate what I'm trying to do and you appreciate my efforts and stuff. So I definitely appreciate that.
So the question is, if y'all have different love languages, does that affect y'all's relationship? So do you think my primary being receiving gifts and yours being acts of service, does that affect our relationship?
I'm going to say no.
It doesn't.
Simply because 1, it doesn't. And then 2, my acts of service are often giving you things. And when it says gifts, it doesn't necessarily mean buying you presents and spoiling you with like a bunch of materialistic stuff.
Literally, like you come home with a bowl of mangoes and I'm excited. Like, yeah, it doesn't have to be super expensive. Just like, anything. I'll be like,
I feel like Tara could use this.
Yeah. Even like my favorite granola bars, like when you remember that I'm running low on that or creamer, like that's
one time I was in the store and saw like a really big box of the granola bar she likes and it was on sale. I'm like, I'm gonna get 2 of these.
Yeah. So that's
it's like I'm the type of person who wants to make sure that people have what they need.
Yeah.
I don't like knowing people going without stuff. And even when it's not that serious, I just like being able to, help people have things. So
I think that our love language doesn't really affect our relationship because we kind of fluently speak all 5.
True.
If you thought of a love language as like an actual language, like German, French, Spanish, English, like that means if I'm speaking German to you, you're speaking Spanish, like we have to be able to understand each other. Mm. I think we fluently speak all 5.
I would agree.
We both are good at giving and receiving gifts. We spend quality time together, physical touch, ow, hey, words of affirmation. Ooh. I have gotten...
Be careful with your fingers on my kneecap.
I've gotten better at that. You're really good at that. Whatever. And then acts of service, I think, is the one that we both probably could work on, but we're both really good at. We're good at all of them. I hate to toot our own horn, but... I'm going to read the book and dig deeper into it. And now that I know what yours is, I can kind of speak it a little bit more. But I think we're good at all of them.
I would agree.
So I don't think it affects our relationship yet. I mean, here's the thing with relationships, long-term relationships, you grow and evolve and change. And so our love language now may have been different the first time we took it 6 years ago, 5 years ago, whenever that was.
True. We have grown into completely different people. So and that happens.
Yeah. So it may not affect it in this season of our relationship, but who knows? It could at some point.
Right.
So thanks again for all of your questions. We really love hearing from you. Definitely send us questions at askttrl@gmail.com, and we will get back to you on the show.
Yeah. Also, again, especially Keenan, please send us a follow-up because I want to know what you do. I want to know how it turns out for you. So
absolutely.
What about that love life advice of the week?
Yeah, we like to wrap up each show with just a quick tip about your love life. And mine is going to be to hold each other accountable. This is one that I still struggle with because I have a hard time sometimes receiving criticism, constructive or otherwise. I just hear it as criticism. And but I will say that, at the end of the day, after I swallow that tough pill, after I, really have time to process it, I appreciate the fact that you hold me accountable. You remind me of my goals. You push me. And you remind me of how awesome I am, because sometimes I forget. Like I feel like I was more confident in like elementary, middle, and high school, and even college than I am sometimes now. Like I feel like I took humility too far to the other direction.
Yeah.
And and have kind of not remembered sometimes. Okay, I got this. And so I really love that you hold me accountable on things and remind me, hey, we're doing this. And now I guess I can say this. I don't hope you're not offended by this, but now that we're engaged, I feel even more focused on like when you hold me accountable, because it's like, this is our future. It's like, these are our goals and this is what we're trying to accomplish. And we're just here to make each other better, because that's what, a partnership and marriage is really all about.
Right. I'm going to, sort of go in that same direction. Because good God, I hate saying piggyback.
I'm gonna piggyback off of that.
Oh my God, that drives me nuts. But I'm going to go in that same direction about the accountability. I'm always the type of person where I'm not going to acknowledge a problem without presenting a solution. So in these times where I'm holding you accountable, I always try to offer some sort of solution. I always offer to help you with something specifically if I know you're struggling with it. I'm like, hey, I see this is happening. I think it would be good for you to try it this way, or, take this action instead of that one. So what I mean by that, ladies and gentlemen, whoever, accountability helps when it's not just the criticism, make sure that you let them know that you're also thinking of ways for the both of you to be better and not just pointing out problems, because otherwise it just sounds like you're griping and nagging, and nobody likes that. So accountability is always important, but again, make sure that you're helping, so don't just be like, you got problems over here and walk off. Be like, hey, you know what? I'm noticing that, we seem to be struggling, and, try to say we. Because it also comes like less aggressive when you say we instead of you. Mm-hmm. Like, you need to do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, well, as true as that may be, don't, try to reword it, try to rephrase it. Like, I think it would be beneficial if this action occurred rather than saying you need to stop doing X, Y, because then at that point it could turn into a fight. And fights can sometimes be healthy, but also in many cases are, unnecessary and harmful.
Can I just say that, like, I really appreciate that, because even though, like, if you say, hey, we really need to do a better job working on X, Y, and Z, even though I know I'm guilty of it and you're probably talking about me, like, I love that when you say we, it just makes me feel like, okay, I'm not the only one. Like, we both need to work on this. Mm-hmm. Like, it's the same thing. Like, if your supervisor sends out an email like, hey, we need to do a better job of X, Y, and Z, then it's like, we're all in this together. We're
right,
part
like
of the
team.
You know who you are. You know who you are.
But a chain is only as strong as its weakest link, and the links don't get any stronger if the other links aren't willing to also provide that strength. So
teamwork makes the dream work.
Exactly. But yeah, and again, like you said, marriage is a partnership, and I think of partnerships as sort of businesses,
Absolutely.
Because what we're going to do is we're going to create a product, we're going to invest in that product, and we're going to market that product. That product is going to be our kid,
Aww.
We're creating a person.
Y'all, I'm not pregnant.
That person. We're
This
not
is
pregnant right
long-term.
now. No, long term, like 7 more years from now. We're going to create a person. We're going to have to develop that person and invest into that person, and that person will have to be marketable to, the college of our kids' choice and the career path opportunities and things like that. And starting a family, I'm not saying that it's all about the money or it's all about the return on investment, but you're working together to create something, just like you're starting a business, so treat it that way. Don't treat your kid like a client, but treat the whole concept of marriage and family life as if it's something that you would invest your business into. So
I love that.
Look at it that way. And that's just coming from me, a person who works in a college of business, so and also as an entrepreneur. So yeah,
I think that's going to wrap up the show. Again, apologize if it's super long.
They're only going to get longer. So
yeah, just
hit pause if you need to.
Just pause it, pick it up where you can.
You have a week to listen to the entire show.
Exactly.
So.
But definitely follow us at This Is TTRL. This is TTRL on Twitter and Instagram. That way you can stay abreast of what's going on with our podcast.
And us in general. Follow me at THERY_C, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and probably something else.
Follow me at TCAR_examiner on Instagram. And I think it's just TCAR examiner on Twitter. But yes, follow me for
I never noticed
boring shenanigans. Yeah.
Yeah, your social media needs
a rebranding.
Yeah, quite a bit.
I will go through a rebranding soon. But for now, follow us
more, but whatever.
at This Is TTRL on Twitter and Instagram.
Like our post, comment on the post, interact with us. We can interact back, I promise.
Yes.
We're not just one of those people that's like, oh, there are commenting on our posts. We're not going to be that people. We'll interact. Ask us a question. We'll talk back.
Yes, and our podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify. So make sure that you are sharing that with friends and post it on your social and a little screenshotage and all of that.
It's also on YouTube, so you can listen at your desk.
Yes.
While you're at work. Nobody's requesting it to go back on SoundCloud, so I'm just not going to pay for SoundCloud. But there are like 2 or 3 episodes on SoundCloud. So, but yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. Finally, I know we said that like 4 times already. Man, we got to talk about that meme that Terrence posted in the group me about the stages of saying goodbye.
Yes, we will talk about that another time.
Absolutely doing that right
because
now.
We're out of time.
Like we picked up our coats like 5 minutes ago.
Yes,
now we're standing by the door.
Going on the goodbye tour.
Yeah.
Anywho, goodbye. We love y'all. Thank you for listening and have a great week.